Bill Gates, known worldwide as a tech pioneer and philanthropist, decided to step away from the spotlight for a day. Wearing an old, oversized jacket, a simple beanie, and carrying a worn backpack, he blended into the crowd on a crisp autumn morning in Seattle. His mission? To conduct a simple yet profound experiment, to understand how people judge others based solely on appearance. Walking down a bustling street, Bill noticed the vibrant chaos of the city. Street vendors called out to passers-by, a musician strummed a guitar on the corner, and a child chased after a fluttering red balloon. Among this tapestry of urban life, Bill spotted a man sitting on a bench near a trash can. The man, Joe, was middle-aged, wearing a tattered coat, his face etched with years of hardship, seemingly unnoticed by the passers-by. Bill adjusted his beanie and approached him with a warm smile. "Hello there," Bill said gently, taking a seat next to Joe. The bench creaked slightly under their combined weight. Joe looked up, startled but intrigued by this stranger's presence. "Mind if we chat for a bit?" At first, Joe hesitated, glancing at Bill with suspicion. But Bill's friendly demeanor put him at ease. They began talking, their breath visible in the crisp morning air. Joe shared his story, how he'd ended up on the streets after a series of unfortunate events, the challenges he faced daily, and his fading hopes for a better life. Bill listened intently, nodding occasionally, and offering words of encouragement. He asked thoughtful questions, showing genuine interest in Joe's experiences. Bill couldn't help but think about how easy it was for people like Joe to fade into the background of society. As Joe spoke, Bill realized how often people are judged not for who they are, but for their current circumstances. He wondered how many others like Joe had the potential to turn their lives around, if only someone believed in them. The morning air carried the faint smell of freshly brewed coffee from a nearby shop. The noise of the bustling street seemed to fade as Bill focused entirely on Joe's words. Each detail Joe shared painted a vivid picture of resilience, hardship, and quiet strength. It was clear that beneath the surface, Joe carried stories of perseverance that many would overlook. As their conversation deepened, Bill noticed the small details about Joe. His hands were rough and calloused, evidence of a life of hard work. His voice carried both weariness and resilience. The more Joe spoke, the more Bill saw the strength hidden beneath his worn exterior. After a while, Bill asked, "Joe, if you could change one thing in your life right now, what would it be?" Joe thought for a moment, his gaze fixed on the steaming cup in his hands. "A stable job and a place to live," he said honestly. "But let's face it, nobody gives you that kind of chance in this world." His tone carried a mix of hope and resignation. Bill smiled, reaching into his backpack. He pulled out a sealed envelope and handed it to Joe. "This is for you," he said, "but promise me one thing. Use it to make your dreams a reality." Joe took the envelope with trembling hands, his eyes darting between Bill and the mysterious gift. Inside, he found a significant amount of cash and a note with a phone number, a direct line to someone who could help him find a job. Joe's eyes filled with tears. "Why are you doing this for me?" he asked, his voice shaking with emotion. "Sometimes all it takes is for someone to believe in you," Bill replied, placing a reassuring hand on Joe's shoulder. "I believe in you, Joe." Their conversation didn't end there. Bill stayed with Joe a while longer, discussing practical steps he could take to turn his life around. They talked about Joe's skills and interests, brainstorming opportunities he hadn't considered before. For the first time in years, Joe felt truly seen and heard. As they wrapped up their discussion, Bill handed Joe a small notebook and pen from his backpack. "Use this to jot down your plans and ideas," Bill suggested. "Sometimes, writing things down helps turn thoughts into actions." Joe accepted the gift with a smile, promising to make the most of it. The simple act of receiving the notebook felt like the beginning of a new chapter for Joe, one where he could take control of his story. A week later, Joe's life had taken a turn for the better. He had secured a steady job at a local hardware store and moved into a modest apartment with a small balcony overlooking the park. For the first time in years, he felt a sense of stability and hope. He even found joy in simple things like decorating his new home with a few plants and cooking his own meals. Bill Gates, who had quietly observed from afar, felt a profound sense of fulfillment. He knew that his small act of kindness had made a meaningful difference. One evening, as Bill walked through the same bustling street where he had met Joe, he saw a subtle change in the atmosphere. People seemed to smile a little more, to greet each other with a bit more warmth. Perhaps, he thought, kindness was contagious. This story reminds us to look beyond appearances and treat everyone with dignity and respect. Sometimes, a simple act of kindness can transform a life in unimaginable ways. Joe's story is a testament to the power of belief and the impact of small gestures. It's not every day that we come across a story that reminds us of our own ability to create change. Bill's simple yet profound gesture proves that we don't need grand actions to make a difference. Sometimes, all it takes is a moment of empathy and a helping hand. These small acts can ripple outward, inspiring others to look at the world and its people with renewed compassion. Joe's journey from despair to hope is a reflection of the resilience of the human spirit. His transformation serves as a reminder that everyone deserves a second chance, and that with the right support, remarkable things are possible. It challenges us to be the kind of people who offer those chances, creating a world where kindness and respect prevail. And with that, we reach the end of this story. Thank you for watching until the very end. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more inspiring stories. Have a wonderful day.